Welcome to another round of Greenville Triumph Weekly here with SDH Networks and OSG Sports. Schedule compression, a lot of games in a very short period of time. Coming up, it will be the fourth match in 2 weeks, or the third in a week, really, going back to the game against Fort Lauderdale at Legacy early on the 22nd. We'll go over the first loss of the year, the away loss to New England Revolution 2 at Gillette Stadium back on Wednesday. Marion Cole from the team will join us for her perspectives on everything going on in USL League One with the Triumph, and Chris Ashley of YTSS, the podcast, that soccer show, and GVLsoccer.com joins us as well. And we kind of do a little soccer over there with Chris, too. But it is a supersized show. Player spotlight as we get ready for the big match against Richmond. Saturday night, 6:30 on ESPN Plus, and the CW62 Paul Clowes visits, as well as Noah Pilato. You'll remember Noah Pilato had, as I phrased it on Twitter, the Thunderbolt for the 1-0 win against Fort Lauderdale CF back on the 22nd. So we catch up with Noah, and we catch up with Clowesy. So it is Clowesy, it is Noah, it is Marion, it is Chris, it is you, and it is me. Busy show, a lot of things to cover, and it is just around the corner. Greenville Triumph Weekly coming up next. Marion Cole for her visit. We'll be back just after this.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service Ad Council and your state forester.
As a business owner, you know that every year brings new challenges and opportunities. The success of your business demands expertise and focus. And Country Financial can help you keep that focus by helping ensure you have the right insurance protection in place to meet your goals. Jason Wright can help you create a customized insurance plan that has coverages designed just for your business. Give Jason a call at 678-568-6871 or reach him on Facebook at Jason Wright Agency. Coverages vary by state. Policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in Georgia. This is sportsmanship. School sports. It's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the Georgia High School Association and the Georgia Athletic Directors Association.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, contact my friend Steve Apolinski of Apolinski & Associates. He's been representing individuals for over 30 years throughout Georgia and Alabama. Email him at steve@aa-legal.com or call him 24/7 at 404-377-9191. The initial consultation is free.
Welcome back, A Block, which means it's time to catch up with the MC of it all, Marion Cole, Greenville Triumph. Marion, as always, good to catch up with you about things. That's the official term.
What's up, John? It's always good to talk with you. It's been a few weeks.
Yep, and the way that we flip flop things, it's been 2 weeks, and so the TV contract has added 6 more matches after the initial success of the first one. Very, very cool stuff.
Yeah, that has been a goal for our club really since the inception of everything last season was to get a local TV broadcast sponsor, and so the CW to pick up those 6 extra games was really like seeing a dream come true, I know, for our ownership group especially. So I know the Richmond game that's coming up will be broadcast on there, and then our September 13th game at home will be broadcast on there as well. So it's exciting.
And obviously still top of the ladder, and you had a thunderbolt at the last home match at Legacy early that was up for goal of the week in USL League One. Good showing for one of the newer faces.
Yeah, Noah, I mean, it was a screamer. I don't know how else to describe it, but just, I mean, came across his body, right-footed hit, upper bend, banged the post. We had actually a GoPro up there that we kind of Jenny-rigged up in the top net, and you just see it from our footage. You see it hit the GoPro and just fall down. I mean, it was it was one spectacular finish from Noah. And Noah's a guy that John and a lot of the coaching staff have been really excited about since he got here. One, just because if you ever watch the guy just for 3 minutes, he is everywhere. He's just like this little Energizer bunny, and he reads the game really well. Him and Aaron have kind of had to work on some positioning aspects, when one pulls in, one goes up, and those sorts of things. But that comes with some new faces. But for him to get a goal that really resembled some of the other shots he's taken in some earlier matches this year, he was relieved and very excited, to say the least.
Still at the top of the table, and the last match out before we get into the match with Richmond, it was a big road trip, and I mean that in the sense of just logistics of getting up to the Northeast to go up and play New 2, and it was a former Tormenta product that got the one goal in the match there for the Revs, and it was 1-0, the first blemish on the card this season.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was 433 scoreless minutes that we put together as a team, and you kind of felt like it was going to happen, and not in the sense that it should have happened. I don't think by any chance that was our best performance. I think the goal was, from a lack of pressure. You get caught in transition, and that happens. But you knew, like you're saying, that you're going into this road trip with so many different obstacles, and you've been at home now for 3 weeks. You get comfortable, and then you have to face all the travels and all the regulations that are on travel right now with COVID, and you're facing tired legs. You're facing a team that has tied, that was their first ever win, but they've tied 2 times, and they've lost twice, and one of them was a late goal. And so, it's a team that's scrappy, and they're keeping things tight until the last few minutes. So, it's one of the teams that they're hunting, and they're feeling a little bit more momentum, and they're feeling a little bit better with every single game. And then you come out and don't necessarily have your best team performance, and it happens, and that's part of soccer. But the good news is you're still at the top of the table with a 1-game lead. You're going into Richmond for a chance to really kind of say, that was not our best performance. Someone finally made us pay for that. But it woke us up, and we are here for the long haul, and we're going to ride things out to be at the top when it's just 2 teams, and that's all that matters.
And in British soccer, they refer to these, and a lot of the European theater, as matches they have relegation 6-pointers. This really is a playoff 6-pointer, where if one team, if Richmond gets a positive result, gets maximum points, they draw themselves that much closer to Greenville. At the same time, Greenville gets full points. They distance themselves as you get to the halfway point of the season. So this one's big on a bunch of different fronts.
It's big on a lot of statistical points, like you're saying, and it's also just, we were on a broadcast call before I jumped on here with you, and that was kind of really John's message, what are the keys to the game? And John's message was how we bounce back. This is more than just stats and distancing ourselves, and yes, that's all important, but this is a mental challenge now as much as it is a physical one. Yes, you're going to have tired legs. You're going into your second game within 4 days, and it's going to be a physical challenge. But this is the first time this season that Greenville has been tested mentally, I think, and where they've got to kind of dig deep and have heart and decide, okay, this is how we didn't play up to our level. We are better than this, and it's going to be how they react. It's going to be how they decide to return back home. Do you want to return back home on a low end of the totem pole? Still probably leading the league, that's the thing, but on a downward momentum. Or do you want to kind of wipe the slate clean with that loss at New England and get 3 points at Richmond? And I definitely think I would choose the latter.
City Stadium, 6:30, locally on the CW62 and on ESPN+. It is Greenville Triumph. Second match in a very, very compressed schedule, very, very short period of time. From New England, back to Greenville, up to Richmond, and then you turn it around and start September next Friday on the road again at Irk Russell Park. So it's a big match, and I guess this is the meat in the sandwich with this one going up against Richmond.
Yeah, I mean, I think this could be when you look back across the season and you think about the things that you could have done better, you didn't do as well, the things that you did really well, when you look back at that reflective season, to me, this is a game that you're going to be like, okay, well, this made our season or this broke our season. You know, we're almost at that halfway point, and we are coming up on the second of 3 games in a row away. And I think if you win this one, you go into Chattanooga with this renewed life, this momentum that, you know, nothing can stop us. If you lose this one in Richmond, it's going to be a much deeper hole to dig out of. Not to say that they can't do it, because, I mean, this team showed last year just the fortitude that they have, you know, amidst all the injuries, amidst all kinds of different adversities. But this, to me, is a game that you look back on and you're like, man, that Richmond game, that's what made our season. Or, man, that Richmond game that we lost 2-0, we just couldn't come back from that. And so I think they understand, whether they say it out loud or not. I think every player and every coach on the Greenville Triumph side understands that this one has big implications across, like you're saying, such a short season where, yeah, every single game matters, but now you're getting to the point where teams are going to start to be eliminated from playoffs, and teams, like you're saying, are going to start to run away with the lead. And with only 2 spots available and a 1-game championship, there's not a lot of room for error.
Marion, as always, good to catch up with you to lead off the Greenville Triumph Weekly when we do it in this particular format. We will catch up with you in just a little bit because we know that there's a lot of games in a very short period of time. We will catch up with you soon. Thanks for hanging out with us on the show.
Yeah, John, good to talk to you.
When we come back, Player Spotlight. Chris Ashley around the corner, YTSS podcast and GVLsoccer.com. You're listening to Greenville Triumph Weekly, OSG Sports, SDH Networks. We'll be right back after this.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service Ad Council and your state forester.
As a business owner, you know that every year brings new challenges and opportunities. The success of your business demands expertise and focus. And Country Financial can help you keep that focus by helping ensure you have the right insurance protection in place to meet your goals. Jason Wright can help you create a customized insurance plan that has coverages designed just for your business. Give Jason a call at 678-568-6871 or reach him on Facebook at Jason Wright Agency. Coverages vary by state. Policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in Georgia. This is sportsmanship. School sports. It's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the Georgia High School Association and the Georgia Athletic Directors Association.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, contact my friend Steve Apolinsky of Apolinsky and Associates. He's been representing individuals for over 30 years throughout Georgia and Alabama. Email him at steve@aa-legal.com or call him 24/7 at 404-377-9191. The initial consultation is free.
Welcome back, Player Spotlight here on Greenville Triumph Weekly. Time to catch up with now Noah. First and foremost, thank you for liking my description of your goal the other day, and that was me who called it a thunderbolt, and you liked my tweet.
Yeah, I don't think it could have been said any better.
When was the last time that you struck a ball that well in competition? And I mean, it could be, when you're in 8th grade or something. Do you remember the last time that you struck a ball that well and it went in the back of the net?
Yeah, so I scored 1 goal in my career at Penn State, and it was my 5th year, senior year. And it was similar to that in the sense that the ball came bouncing to the top of the box, and I was kind of a late man trailer. And I smashed it, and it went into the side netting. and it was away versus Marion, who ended up winning the national championship that year. So that was a pretty special goal, and I scored it in similar fashion. But to do it on the professional stage in front of, Greenville fans who have been waiting for soccer for so long, and to get my first one for the club, I think that was probably the most special goal I've had in my career.
For those that don't know the story, how did you end up in Greenville?
So, like I said, I graduated from Penn State in December of 2018, and then I signed for Loudoun United, which was DC United's second team in the USL Championship last season. And then this offseason, just through the grapevine, my old coach at Loudoun and John were teammates at DC United in the U.S. national team. So that's how I got connected to John through that. And I'd obviously heard great things about the club and about the area. And I came down here in February on a open tryout and impressed enough to earn a spot in preseason, and then the rest is history. Now I'm here, and I couldn't be happier.
So, in this year that has been the weirdest of all weird years when it comes to sports, and I mean, with everything, with the entire planet dealing with COVID-19, and obviously for a league that would have liked to have started at one point, you would have liked to have, gotten into playing at a certain time, but obviously everything gets pushed back when it comes to sports in general. How weird of a year has it been for you as a professional athlete?
Yeah, it's definitely been trying times, but I think that we came out of it stronger than we were going into it. Obviously, initially, the first preseason, I guess you could call it, the team looked really strong and strung together a couple good results versus USL Championship sides in Charlotte and Charleston. So we were all super excited and looking forward to getting the season going. Obviously, then that was postponed, but we stayed together. Everyone stayed in the area. We did weekly Zoom calls with each other just to stay, in touch and to stay as a team, because we knew that we had a special group of guys, and we didn't want the momentum that we built in the first preseason to go anywhere. So whether that was, working out individually and sharing those workouts with the team, or just getting on Zoom calls just to check in on each other, it was obviously different than what we would have expected, but I think doing those things made us stronger as a group, and just showed how special of a team we have. And then obviously once we were able to get back out on the field, starting with small group trainings, we trained in groups of 4, and then we were able to train in groups of 6 and 9, and then eventually it got into the full team training. So guys were just chomping at the bit and buzzing to get back out there, and everyone kept a great attitude throughout the whole process. So like I said, it was obviously different and trying times, but it showed how special this group really is, staying tuned and bought in the whole time.
What's it been like traveling on the road? I mean, for those of us of a certain age, we know about life on the bus, Bull Durham and those kinds of things, Major League, looking at life like that. What's it like? What's travel been like for you as a professional athlete, knowing that you've got to get up, you've got to pack your life into a bag, you've got to make sure that your foam pillow is there so you can stretch out appropriately when you're on the road, you've got to eat right. What's this been like for you as a pro?
Yeah, so obviously it starts with just taking the proper precautions. We obviously know there's a pandemic in airports and travel stations, gas stations, wherever we may stop on the way. It can be a hot spot for us. We have a great training staff and a great front office staff that has put things into place for us to be able to do these things safely. We all get hand sanitizer, new bottles every trip prior before leaving. We're all masked up all the time, wearing gloves, and taking all the proper precautions to make sure that, we're staying safe and the people around us are staying safe. We've actually flown to all of our away games, so we haven't had that long bus trip, thank God. So it's been different. I mean, going through airports and seeing, everyone with the face shield and the mask and having to stay socially distanced and all that kind of stuff is different, but we're doing the right things, and we have people here to help us do the right things. And so it's made that transition a little bit smoother than it may have been otherwise. So it's been all right. It's been good.
What's it been like to learn from a guy like John Harkes?
It's special, man. It really is. To be under a guy with the resume and the soccer knowledge and the soccer background that he has, it's something that you got to go in every day and not take for granted. Anything from a little thing that he tells you, a tactical thing he tells you, just things like that he shares with you. You just got to take everything in because he's done what I'm sure all of us in this team strive to do. He's represented the country. He's played abroad. He's got an unbelievable resume. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think I could have ended up in a better place playing under a better coach.
What's the first lesson that he taught you that stuck with you?
So we have a very strong system in place. Kind of like tactically. So he is very smart in the way that he sets the team up. So we're set up in a structure, but he also stresses that we need to play with freedom. So it's almost like a contradictory statement that we're very set up and we're very structured, but there's also freedom to play, which was confusing when I first came in, but just to hear that and understand that more is he tells us the right spots to be in, and then he wants us to have the freedom to go from there, which I think has elevated my game to a new level. It's trust the system, but also trust in myself and trust in my teammates. So I think that's a really special lesson that he's taught me.
So when you are within the structure, within the system, but playing freely, how would you, if you were in the stands looking at you, how would you describe your play within the structure but playing freely?
Right, so more so defensively, we want to be stuck in that structure and be together as a unit and as a team. And then when the ball transitions offensively, it's play to your strengths and play to your teammates' strengths and just have the freedom to do what you want and do what you see. So for me, I think being a center midfielder and being in the center of the park, it's can I get the ball and see the whole field and open up the entire game rather than, hey, you get the ball and you pass to this guy, hey, you get the ball and you turn and you pass to this guy. Can you get the ball, survey the entire field, and open up the team, open up the game for your teammates?
All right. You're in schedule compression right now. A lot of games, very short period of time. You had the loss, the first blemish on the season, going all the way up to Boston to go up against New 2. Now it's a quick turn to go to Richmond for really, and the conversations that I've had with Marion earlier in the show and Chris Ashley, who's coming up in just a little bit. In European soccer, they refer to relegation six-pointers. I think that this is a playoff six-pointer because it's the top two teams that make it. But if one team wins, it gets closer. If you guys win, the margins are farther apart. True?
Right. Yes, very true.
So when it comes to Richmond, what has study hall been like getting ready for this match?
So it all started after the New England game. Obviously, it's tough to go up there and not get points when we saw like we deserved and probably should have gotten at least a point out of that game. But it started right after the game. So right after the game, we went in as a team. We talked briefly about the game, and we went right into a little bit of a flush regen bike session, stretch, just to get our legs kind of flushed out, like I said. Then we woke up the next morning and again did a stretch, did a light training session just to get our legs going because we know, like you said, we had the quick turnaround. And then just going into the Richmond game, we've obviously seen them once already this season. We got a favorable result. But it's more so focused on us and how we prepare for the game and how we go into it. It's obviously a quick week and a quick turnaround, but we have done the right things and our training staff has put us through the right things and done the right places. That we think we can be successful in that game. And again, it's just a mentality thing. It is a quick turnaround, but we're focused on, this game at hand, not the game at New England or the game we have following Richmond. It's what can we do to get the result in the game that we have coming up next. And I think we're ready and we've done the right things. And we're going to come out with a little bit of an extra chip on our shoulder, having had that first loss, but I'm definitely super excited. The group's ready.
We will keep an eye on it, whether it's watched locally on the CW or on ESPN+. thanks for hanging out. Thanks for introducing yourself to all of the fans. I know they've had the chance to see you, but they haven't had the opportunity to kind of sit down with you here a little bit. Thanks for putting up with all these questions. Good luck against Richmond this weekend, and we'll see you down the road. Thanks for hanging out with us here on the Weekly.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Thank you.
When we come back, more stuff. And that's the official term. You're listening to Greenville Triumph Weekly, SDH Network, OSG Sports. We'll be right back after this.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yep, he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service Ad Council and your state forester.
As a business owner, you know that every year brings new challenges and opportunities. The success of your business demands expertise and focus. And Country Financial can help you keep that focus by helping ensure you have the right insurance protection in place to meet your goals. Jason Wright can help you create a customized insurance plan that has coverages designed just for your business. Give Jason a call at 678-568-6871 or reach him on Facebook at Jason Wright Agency. Coverages vary by state. Policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in Georgia. This is sportsmanship. School sports. It's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the Georgia High School Association and the Georgia Athletic Directors Association.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, contact my friend Steve Apolinski of Apolinski and Associates. He's been representing individuals for over 30 years throughout Georgia and Alabama. Email him at steve@aa-legal.com or call him 24/7 at 404-377-9191. The initial consultation is free.
Welcome back. Double trouble in the player spotlight this week. Clowes, how are you?
Doing very well, thanks, John. Appreciate having me on.
All right. So, and that's kind of a double-parted question. You know, how are things these days with you?
It's going well. Yeah, I mean, it's good to be back training and get myself be able to play games again. So it's been a strange year so far, and obviously not great to have got injured. But one of the great things about this team is that we've got deep squad and tons of guys to step up. Pilato, for example, who's been great for us this year. So that depth of squad's been good, and it's been good to see the boys thrive and do well so far.
And I know that, when you're trying to get back to 100%, I know that having covered athletes as long as I have, not having been an athlete as long as I have, but covering you guys, it's frustrating to see things progressing on the sidelines while you're trying to get back to 100%. For someone who is a fan who doesn't necessarily understand all of the toil and effort and trouble and blood and sweat and tears that goes into getting back to 100%. What has that ride been like for you?
That's a good question. Yeah, it's a lot behind the scenes stuff. I mean, it's a case of going in a few times a day for treatments and, showing up at physical therapy at the hospital and the ups and downs of it. I mean, I think as a society we often glorify athletes and we think of it as we think of athletes as the high-paid, high-stakes rollers who have an easy job, and it's not always that way, particularly in the lower leagues of the soccer world. So it's a lot of grind, and it's being able to see the big picture. I mean, it's been a tough year mentally for a lot of people anyway, and we've been incredibly fortunate to have jobs still, and I think that there's some level of gratitude and some idea that we're really lucky right now. Not all the rest of the country and the rest of the world has that opportunity. So I think that's been a point of solace for me to understand that, I have been lucky to still be employed and have a job and see the big picture, and the end goal's still the same, is to win the championship at the end of the year. So whether that takes me, 6 months to get back or 6 weeks or however long that is, it's just staying for the big goal and working hard each day to get just a little bit closer.
What?
So, yeah.
What is the timetable right now? What are they telling you, and what are you telling yourself, I guess?
I mean, half of it is mental and to overcome those hurdles. So for me, it's really just each day pushing myself a little bit along. I'll be ready as and when the coaching staff need me and want me, and I'm always willing to put my body on the line to do what the team needs, really. So I'm ready to go as and when the coaching staff need me and feel that I'm ready to.
What's it been like to see the team at the top of the table this year? I know that last year getting to the last game of the year but coming up, one win short is something to build on for the franchise, but what has it been like to see the guys so far at the top of the table this year?
It's been awesome. I mean, we've come on leaps and bounds as an organisation, even just the quality training sessions, and I've had a chance to watch some of those over the last few months, and just the quality in the application from each week and each training session and each game is miles ahead of where we were last year. We're a much more mature team, and I think that's shown off in some of the gritty results that we've pulled out. I still don't think we played our best football, and that's going to come with time, and I'm confident in this group and this team that we'll get there. But it's been great to see the grit and the determination of the group, and that's going to hopefully keep showing as weeks go on.
Noah Pilato was on in the segment before you, and I asked him this question. I'm going to ask the same one for you. What was the first lesson that John Harkes and the coaching staff taught you that stuck for whatever reason? What was the first lesson that they taught you that impacted you as a footballer?
That's a really good question. For me, something that we hear a lot from the staff, and it's different for me than it is for Noah. I've been a couple of years longer, so a few of those things have kind of have been thrown around a little bit more. But something the staff always say that has stuck with me is ask questions of the opposition, and sometimes that doesn't always mean playing pretty football where it's quick one-touch, two-touch play. Sometimes that's making it awkward for teams. That's something that the staff talk about a lot, and that's definitely stuck with me. It doesn't have to be pretty, it's sometimes pragmatic. So asking questions of the opposition is something that I think the staff, John and Alex and Rick, have pushed on to us, and I think that's something that we've done and we'll continue to do as the season goes on. And I back the front guys, the guys we have up top, to capitalise on mistakes that defenders make. So that's another edge to our game that we're constantly looking to add to go along with the attractive soccer piece too.
Well, and you mentioned a word, and this is a word that I want to get into with you in this discussion. It's the word pragmatic. And I think that sometimes the United States soccer fan and the European soccer fan have different perceptions of the word pragmatic. If, say, you're in the States, I think that folks will listen to that word pragmatic and they may attach it to the Jose Mourinho Chelsea, hey, we're going to get one goal, then we're going to park the bus and we're done kind of a thing. That's not always the case. Pragmatic just means, I would think, from my perspective, seeing the game in front of you, taking what is there, and being involved in that aspect of it. Not necessarily sitting there and saying, okay, we don't have a chance, we're going to do this, we're gassed right now, we'll get the one goal, park the entire garage of buses in front of net and go forward. I think that pragmatic sometimes gets that dirty word attached to it.
Yeah, it does, and I think that's something that certainly comes with maturity. And for me, I associate that with pragmatic with being taking what the game gives you. There's going to be times when you're under a bit of pressure, and it's okay to be a bit more direct and have a few dimensions to the game. We all want to play beautiful, Barcelona style soccer that's pretty to watch, but sometimes the game doesn't always give you that. If you're on a bad pitch or you're getting pressed by the opposition, sometimes you have to be a bit more direct and take what the game gives you. So I think that there's a level of maturity an understanding that comes as you grow in the game as a player and as a fan. I think you learn to appreciate that as well. Game management, when you're leading a goal, you may want to be a bit more reserved in the numbers that you send forward, and it's really managing the game, and I think that's how I associate that word.
Midfielder Paul Clowes hanging out with us here in Player Spotlight this week on Triumph Weekly. Since you went to Clemson, you've gotten the exposure of the growth of the sport in the upstate, first as a collegian, now as a professional. What has it been like to see the game grow to where it is and you being a part of it as a professional now?
I remember one day specifically where I must have been a junior or senior at Clemson, and I was, for those listening that know, at the campus. I was going down past the tennis centre and the soccer field, and there was the intramural fields on the left. I remember seeing everyone there playing soccer, and I was like, that's crazy, because when I came as a freshman, people were throwing the football around or tossing the frisbee, and I kind of had a realisation was, has our success as a soccer team at Clemson had an impact on that, and that was a really big moment for me. And even when I go back to campus now, that's still the same energy. I think it's been really great to see the growth of it. It's been quick, and there's so many great local soccer clubs around, and it's always a point of pride for me that when there's young fans at our games to interact with those guys. Obviously, it's difficult this year, but it's always enjoyable to see the young fans and the community get behind this club. We're here to stay, and I think that's the next level of growth is for this area to start producing some real quality players. It has done previously, players like Cole Seiler, who played in the MLS, obviously, and with us, Cal Fisher, another one who's played in the MLS, who I played with at Clemson, and that's the next level of growth that it's there for these kids now, and we're that pro team that can help expose them to the highest level of the game, and we want to be that for this community.
Do you think of yourself as either a flag bearer or a role model in that?
Somewhat. I think it's a little bit different than me having a deep South Carolinian accent myself, so it's a little bit different for me not coming from the area, but I certainly feel that that we as a club are flag bearers, and that we hold a great responsibility for this club and this community. And personally, I take a lot of pride in it, and Greenville's very much a home to me. The upstate as a whole is a home to me, and I guess I would consider myself somewhat of a flag bearer for the area, and want to keep doing that wherever my career takes me, in and out of soccer. So, I take a lot of pride in that.
All right. Study hall has been coming fast and furious for the guys this week, getting ready for Richmond. After the loss to New 2 up in Boston. You come back, you turn around, now it's Richmond again. When you look at Richmond, what do you see?
I see a hungry team. I think they have a good mixture of some young, talented players and some experienced heads. The coach Swatsky there he's been around the block, and he's an experienced coach, and he certainly drives the group as an intense group. I would say that they're a pragmatic team, and they at times take what the game gives them. So it'll be a mature game. I think it'll be a tough one, but I always back us to have the edge to win in tough games. We've shown we can do that before with a previous win against them, and it wasn't our best performance. So for us, it's a case of putting that steel with the style as well, and kind of merging those together to come away with 3 points.
Clowesy, as always, it's good to catch up with you. Thanks for being a part of Triumph Weekly, and obviously everybody's going to be keeping an eye on things and looking forward to seeing you out there on the pitch really soon. Thanks for spending some time.
No, thanks so much for having me, John. Appreciate it.
When we come back, Chris Ashley, YTSS, the podcast, GVL Soccer Weekly. He's running the anchor leg this week. Greenville Triumph Weekly. More coming up around the corner. Stick and stay. We'll be right back.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service Ad Council and your state forester.
As a business owner, you know that every year brings new challenges and opportunities. The success of your business demands expertise and focus. And Country Financial can help you keep that focus by helping ensure you have the right insurance protection in place to meet your goals. Jason Wright can help you create a customized insurance plan that has coverages designed just for your business. Give Jason a call at 678-568-6871 or reach him on Facebook at Jason Wright Agency. Coverages vary by state. Policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in Georgia. This is sportsmanship. School sports. It's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the Georgia High School Association and the Georgia Athletic Directors Association.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, contact my friend Steve Apolinsky of Apolinsky and Associates. He's been representing individuals for over 30 years throughout Georgia and Alabama. Email him at steve@aa-legal.com or call him 24/7 at 404-377-9191. The initial consultation is free.
Welcome back, Greenville Triumph Weekly. It's time for the anchor leg. Chris Ashley, YTSS, Yeah, That Soccer Show, the podcast, GVLsoccer.com. And Chris, there were 2 zeros that got put into ones after the midweek with new 2 and Greenville Triumph.
Yeah, we're going to lead off with the hard stuff, John. It's, listen, it was not an enjoyable game to watch. It was one where I think Greenville was not lacking for opportunities. They just, this looked like the Triumph of last year a little bit, having a hard time finding some finishing there. And this thing I've been stressing about all year about, hey, we're pushing up really high, we're going to get caught on a counterattack. Well, that happens. And Dallas J with a really uncharacteristic non-save on a shot that honestly wasn't that great from the Revs. Looking at the replay, guy might have been offside, but it's hard to know for sure. It's not a great night for the Triumph. But hey, we got it out of our system now. Mm-hmm. We can turn the corner. It's almost halfway through the season to get us our first loss. So I'll take that. This is a team last year at this point that were they going to make the playoffs, and they're still comfortably sitting atop the table.
There's the hashtag gaggle that we talk about from 3 to 11 now, separated by 5 points going into the weekend. Union Omaha with 9. Forward Madison, their match with North Texas has been postponed because of their observation and recognition of social injustice. Tormenta is at 8 points. Fort Lauderdale's at 7. Tucson, North Texas at 6. Red Wolves at 5, along with New 2 with their first win of the year. They're at 5 points, and Orlando City B is at 4. So the team that I left out was the one that I left out on purpose because, we talk about relegation 6-pointers when you and I have Premier League discussions or discussions about action going on in the European theater. This is, a playoff 6-pointer, really, because if one of the teams wins, it either really shortens the gap between 1 and 2 with Greenville and Richmond, or it spaces Greenville and Richmond out that much more.
Yeah, this is a big game. And, the first time these two teams met at the beginning of the season in Greenville, no fans were there. It was a 3-2 slogging, a couple own goals, one that got overturned. But it was a match where Akira Fitzgerald came out at halftime, and I think that was a little bit of a difference for Greenville. Look, Akira Fitzgerald and Dallas J are the 2 best goalkeepers in this league, no question. I wouldn't expect a 3-2 match again for this one. In fact, this could easily be a 0-0 draw or a 1-0 victory for either side. It's going to be tough. But look, here's the deal. Richmond won this series last year, the Bon Secours Cup, if you will.
Yes.
And my wife works for Bon Secours Hospital, so I would love for us to be able to claim that trophy this season. We've got the first match under our belt. It'd be nice to walk out of Richmond with a piece of hardware for the Triumph.
So then, let me ask you this: if Greenville ends up with the Bon Secours Cup, would you be the individual to take said cup and walk it into the Greenville version of said hospital chain?
I mean, I would love to. That would be quite the honor. I'll have to send a text message to Doug and Chris, see if they'll see if they will bestow that honor upon me.
When you look at the season to date, there's the fans that have been brought into Legacy early, and The TV contract has an expansion. There are a lot of different things that are happening off the pitch right now for Greenville that are trending in the right direction when it comes to support inside the building.
You know, again, the attendance from the first week with fans to the second week went up a little bit. Not a ton, like 100, 120-ish. But in this environment, I think going up at all is significant because I think I know a lot of the Reedy River Riot members even are still saying, hey, we just simply don't feel comfortable being there, which is completely understandable. And so I think you're getting that. You're getting the obviously the eyeballs. The TV contract is huge, enough for the TV station to say, hey, like we want to continue on and do this again, and especially now without SoCon football in the fall, you know, this is great product for them. Live sports, something that they were going to lose, and so you know everything's good and the community's good, and I think that I'm getting the sense that the Triumph are just more visible and more known and understood throughout the community, and that's really the biggest hurdle for any minor league sports team is just recognition that they're even there, and especially with a sport like soccer that is not front of mind for a lot of folks. Any growth in eyeballs and recognition of the brand is huge.
What's it been like to see that from ground zero to now?
I mean, it's been really cool for me because, you know, I feel like I have taken a mantle through some hard work, but also just through some recognition of the things I'm doing, of being somewhat of an expert on the sport and on this team. And so I have, you know, it's cool for me when people who know that this is a passion of mine, that people that aren't into soccer but are saying, hey, like, you know, I've been hearing a lot about the Triumph recently, and, you know, like, I would love to come check it out with you sometime. Like, that's a big deal to me. It's a big deal that people, you know, recognize my love for it, but also me hearing folks that I know don't care anything about soccer showing interest says to me that this team is gaining some traction for sure.
Now, action on the pitch, we had a first-year player, and the word that I used that he responded in kind to and approved the usage of was thunderbolt. What was it? What was it like to see a rocket go in the back of the net from a new player that adds to the continued history of Greenville Triumph?
Yeah, well, I was standing next to Doug Irwin, kind of right beside the net when that went in, and we both just jaws hit the ground. I mean, that was an incredible goal, and I know you had one down in North Texas that was really good, also up for goal of the week. But to me, Pilato allowing the ball, he had to let that ball cross all the way over his body, and then just pin it absolutely in the top 90, and then ricochet in there off the post. You know, anytime a ball goes off of one of the bars, like even if it doesn't need that to hit the net, just that sound resonating through the stadium it's like a gunshot before the eruption of excitement from the crowd. So it was a big goal for the team in that game, and a big boost to the team for sure.
So Greenville and Richmond this week, number 1 versus number 2 currently in the standings. It's going to be a fun one for those outside the market. It's going to be at City Stadium, and they've done some really cool renovations up at City Stadium. 6:30 Saturday night is Richmond and the Greenville Triumph, a big matchup in USL League One. All right, now to the other stuff. And on the SDH network, you know, we have one of our programs, the Monday night program, Soccer Over There. This is where I bring you in, and we blend Soccer Over There into Greenville Triumph Weekly for the remainder of this segment. You ready?
Yeah, I'm in.
So Leeds United, and you have made zero secret about your affinity, love, fascination, fandom, marking out for Leeds United. You got your big money striker up top.
Yeah, it's a big signing for the team. I mean, I think it's something the last couple of years Leeds has needed. You know, I think Bielsa really loves what Patrick Bamford brings to the team in terms of hold-up play. It's not a incredible poacher finisher. I'm hopeful that Rodrigo is going to be that, but we'll have to see. I think it's going to be a good signing for this team, though.
Second part of Soccer Over There for this week, and there was a player who basically said, "I'm out," for his team that he has been part and parcel to for a very, very long time. Your initial reaction when the soccer world imploded when Lionel Messi said, I'm out at Barca?
I would say my initial reaction upon the actual announcement was a little muted, just because I think it almost seemed a foregone conclusion that it was going to happen. I didn't have any thoughts of him coming to MLS right away. I think he's got his eye on the World Cup in a couple of years and wanting to be in the best form he can for that. Listen, I don't want him to go to Manchester City, because why? They don't need. I think somebody threw it out there on Twitter about him coming to the Greenville Triumph. Hey, let's get this scrappy upstart league some press, and John Hart said he was going to be working on his Catalan. So we're gonna make a push. We're gonna see if we can get him down here to the upstate.
I was going to say, was there any truth to the rumor that you were the one that floated that out there on Twitter about bringing Messi to the upstate?
I didn't know. That was our guy Gio. He's been representing the Triumph in some of the esports venues, but he's the one that threw it out there. I think he's a big Barca fan.
So your gut's telling you Manchester City, huh?
I think so. I think that's where he's going to end up. The relationship with Pep Guardiola is just. I think that's a player like Messi who's in a position where he's in. He can go anywhere he wants. He doesn't have to have the money. I think a lot of it's going to be about where he can make an impact, where he can be the strongest possible going into that World Cup, and where he feels comfortable. And so, a guy who has a pre-existing relationship with a manager, I think that's the place to end up.
Blatant plug time.
Although I'd love to see him come to Leeds. Hey, we've got an Argentine man.
Yeah. Could you imagine? Could you imagine Bielsa and Messi?
It'd be something.
Woo. Blatant plug time. What's going on at YTSS and GVLsoccer.com?
Yeah, GVLsoccer.com is where we have all the written reviews, previews for the matches coming up, and then you can check out the podcast, That Soccer Show, on all the podcatchers, YTSS Podcast on Twitter, and if you want to follow me, I'm at GVL Soccer Guy.
There you go. See, it's another segment of blending Greenville Triumph stuff in USL League One and soccer over there. Chris, as always, it's fun to talk multiple things in a very, very busy week for the Triumph, as it is a playoff six-pointer at the top of the table. We'll catch up with you next week and break it all down.
Sounds great, John.
We come back, we'll put a bonus show. You're listening to Greenville Triumph Weekly, SDH Networks. OSG Sports will be right back after this.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service Ad Council and your state forester.
As a business owner, you know that every year brings new challenges and opportunities. The success of your business demands expertise and focus. And Country Financial can help you keep that focus by helping ensure you have the right insurance protection in place to meet your goals. Jason Wright can help you create a customized insurance plan that has coverages designed just for your business. Give Jason a call at 678-568-6871 or reach him on Facebook at Jason Wright Agency. Coverages vary by state. Policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in Georgia. This is sportsmanship. School sports. It's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the Georgia High School Association and the Georgia Athletic Directors Association.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, contact my friend Steve Apolensky of Apolensky and Associates. He's been representing individuals for over 30 years throughout Georgia and Alabama. Email him at steve@aa-legal.com or call him 24/7 at 404-377-9191. The initial consultation is free.
Time to put a bow on yet another show for Greenville Triumph Weekly here on OSG Sports and the SDH Network. Don't forget, download the Greenville Triumph app, available iOS and Android for all the updated information that you need when it comes to the Greenville Triumph, 24/7, 365. It's there at your fingertips in iOS phone, Android phone. It's all right there for you, so don't forget to download the app for everything going on with the Greenville Triumph. Also, greenvilletriumph.com. That's where you get all your information. You can get your shopping done there. You can get all of the news and information down there. You can click on the bios, get acquainted with the guys, get acquainted with the front office, get acquainted with everybody, greenvilletriumph.com. And the Greenville Triumph app. Once again, reminder from City Stadium in Richmond this weekend. Big six-pointer at the top of the table in USL League One, the Kickers and the Triumph. 6:30 on CW62 for those with cable TV or on ESPN Plus, and you can watch all the matches this season in USL League One on ESPN Plus. So ESPN Plus CW62 for the match this weekend. 6:30 from Richmond, Virginia at City Stadium, a renovated and remodeled City Stadium. So it's going to be interesting to see how that looks for the Richmond Kickers. Richmond, Greenville, big one at the top of the table. Thanks to the players for hanging out with us for another week. Thanks to Chris Ashley. Thanks to Marion Cole. And thanks to you for being a part of everything when it comes to the Triumph. Play it safe, everybody. Enjoy the game. It's going to be a big one. We'll catch up with you next time.